When silence speaks the loudest. Have you ever felt like a woman might be into you, but the way she acts says otherwise? Maybe she avoids eye contact, seems distant, or just gives a quick smile before turning away. But in truth, these could be signs of deep attraction hidden behind a fear of rejection. Many women don't express their feelings openly, not because they don't care, but because they're afraid of sending the wrong signal, of getting hurt, of seeming too obvious. So instead of confessing how they feel, they send subtle cues, stolen glances, hesitation before starting a conversation, casually vague questions. This video will help you recognize those silent signs, the hidden emotional language only the emotionally aware can read. Don't let a rare opportunity pass just because you assumed she's probably just being polite. It's time to listen more closely and understand what she's too scared to say out loud. Part 1. Eric and Sophie, a missed connection. Have you ever wondered if someone liked you and only realized it after they were gone? Let me tell you a story. A true one that could have happened to any of us. The scene. Every morning before work, Eric stopped by the same neighborhood coffee shop. But over time, it wasn't just the coffee that brought him back. It was Sophie, the barista who somehow remembered everything about him. His drink orders, his preferences on rainy days, his subtle habits. She joked with him, lingered for just a moment too long in conversation, even when the line was long. At first, Eric thought, she's just being nice, it's part of the job. The turning point. Then one morning, Sophie asked a simple question. So, what's your weekend looking like? To Eric, it felt casual. He smiled and brushed it off, probably just the usual. But that question, soft, uncertain, wasn't just small talk. It was her quiet invitation, a moment of courage, a test balloon floating gently in the air, and he let it pass. The consequence. In the weeks that followed, Sophie noticed his distance, her energy changed, and one day, she was simply gone. A new barista stood in her place. She quit, they said, wanted a fresh start. And just like that, Eric understood. Too late. The insight. Moments like this are fragile. Attraction doesn't always shout, it whispers. If you don't listen closely, you miss it. So ask yourself, have I ever overlooked a quiet signal? Part 2. The 10 hidden signs of fearful female attraction. Sign number 1. She hesitates before starting a conversation. The silent struggle between wanting connection and fearing rejection. A moment you might have missed. Have you ever noticed someone about to say something, but then they don't? She opens her mouth, smiles faintly, and stays silent. Or maybe you get a notification from her, but the message disappears before you can open it. At first glance, this looks like simple hesitation. But look closer. It reveals a deeper emotional tug-of-war. Brain the hidden conflict inside her. This is more than just indecisiveness. She wants to connect. There's interest, maybe even affection. But fear kicks in. What if I say the wrong thing? What if he thinks I'm too forward? What if I'm not enough for him? So she backs off, not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much. This kind of hesitation often comes from past wounds, rejection, betrayal, or simply not being heard. It's a defense mechanism. Staying silent feels safer than risking vulnerability. Light bulb, a question worth asking. How many connections are lost, not from lack of attraction, but because fear won the battle. So the next time you sense hesitation, pause. Don't assume disinterest. Sometimes, the quietest signals carry the loudest emotions. Sign number 2. She avoids eye contact, but steals glances. The silent signals hidden in the eyes that refuse to meet yours. Studio microphone opening. The look that wasn't meant to be seen. Have you ever caught someone looking at you, only for them to instantly look away the moment your eyes meet? It seems like nothing, a passing glance, but what if I told you? That fleeting moment reveals far more than words ever could. In group settings, you might notice she watches you more than others. She pays attention when you speak, when you laugh, even when you're just sitting quietly. But the second you turn her way, her gaze drops. She looks at her phone, or suddenly becomes interested in the ceiling. Magnifying glass, the psychology behind the glance. This behavior isn't random. It's a classic sign of fearful attraction, when someone is drawn to you but deeply afraid of being exposed. Avoiding eye contact is a defense mechanism. Eye contact creates intimacy. It makes us feel seen, vulnerable. Stealing glances is how the heart tries to connect when the mind isn't ready. She might not even realize she's doing it. It's an automatic response shaped by past experiences, perhaps rejection, betrayal, or a fear of misreading affection. Light bulb why it matters. Eye contact is powerful, but the lack of it doesn't always mean disinterest. Sometimes, those who look away the fastest feel the most. So, next time you catch someone stealing a glance, don't ignore it. Ask yourself, what are they trying not to reveal? Sign number 3. Nervous fidgeting around you. When attraction speaks through restless hands. The quiet clues in body language. Have you ever noticed someone playing with their hair, adjusting their clothes, or constantly checking their phone when they're around you? It might seem like random, meaningless movements, but they're not. These small, almost subconscious actions often tell a much bigger story. What you're seeing could be nervous fidgeting, a classic sign of hidden attraction mixed with anxiety. It's the body trying to cope with emotional intensity that the person may not be ready to express out loud. Brain, the psychology of fidgeting. Let's break it down. Touching the hair can be a self-soothing gesture or a way to redirect nervous energy. Adjusting clothing often signals a desire to be seen in the best possible light. Tapping fingers or checking the phone repeatedly might reflect inner tension or the fear of awkward silence. These aren't just habits, they're coping strategies. When someone feels both drawn to you and unsure of how to act on it, the result is often fidgeting. It's like their body is betraying the calm they're trying to project. This isn't manipulation or immaturity. It's vulnerability in motion. Light bulb, a thought to reflect on. When words fall short, the body speaks up. So next time someone seems restless in your presence, don't just brush it off. Look closer. Because hidden in those gestures may be the quiet stirrings of attraction and the fear of being truly seen. Sign number 4. She asks indirect questions about your dating life. When curiosity masks deeper intentions. The question behind the question. So, are you seeing anyone right now? Or maybe, your girlfriend must be lucky. Sounds casual, right? But let's take a step back. Why would someone who's just a friend need to know about your relationship status? And why ask it that way? In many cases, this isn't just small talk. It's a subtle signal, an emotional radar scan, to figure out if you're emotionally available and whether it's safe to get closer. Magnifying glass why indirect questions matter. Directly asking, "Are you single?" can feel too bold, especially if someone fears rejection or embarrassment. So instead, they phrase it playfully, like it's just a joke or a compliment, giving them room to retreat if the answer isn't what they hoped for. These questions help them gauge boundaries, interest, and timing without exposing their true feelings too soon. Psychologically, it's a classic tactic of someone experiencing attraction but holding back, not because the interest isn't real, but because the fear of vulnerability is stronger. Light bulb what you should notice. These innocent questions are rarely random. They often appear after a growing emotional connection, and they're designed to protect both pride and hope. So if she casually drops a line about your love life, ask yourself, is she really just curious, or is she quietly hoping for a door to open? Sign number 5. She remembers the small things you say. When attention becomes affection, the subtle power of memory. Have you ever had someone unexpectedly recall your favorite coffee order, or ask how your meeting went, even though you only mentioned it in passing days ago? It might seem like a kind gesture, but psychologically, it reveals something deeper. People remember what matters to them. And when someone remembers small details about you, things most others would forget, it's often a quiet but powerful sign of emotional interest. Brain why memory signals meaning. We don't store every piece of information we hear. Our brains filter based on emotional relevance. So if she remembers that you hate mornings, love 90s jazz, or once twisted your ankle in high school, those aren't just facts. They're emotional bookmarks, signs that she's been paying attention, not out of politeness, but out of care. This kind of memory is tied to empathy and connection. It means your words didn't just enter her ears, they landed in her emotions. Light bulb a reflection to consider. Think about it. How often do you remember tiny facts about someone unless they mean something to you? In a world full of distractions, remembering the small things is a big deal. It's not just about having a good memory, it's about valuing you enough to listen, notice, and hold on to what makes you unique. Sign number 6. She brings up past conversations with emotional insight. When she remembers not just your words, but your feelings, more than just memory. Have you ever had someone remind you of something you once said, but not just the words, the emotion behind them? Maybe she says, "You mentioned how exhausted you felt after that trip. Did you ever get a real break?" Or, "I remember you said that song reminded you of your dad. It played today and made me think of you." These moments are subtle, but powerful. They show she's not just recalling what you said, she's holding space for how you felt when you said it. Brain the psychology behind emotional recall. When someone reflects your emotions back to you, it's a sign of high emotional attunement, a deeper level of empathy. She's not just repeating facts. She's connecting dots, remembering your inner world, your fears, your joys, your subtle hesitations. This takes effort. Emotional insight requires listening not just with the ears, but with attention and care. This behavior is rare, especially in casual connections. It's something people tend to do when they feel emotionally invested, but are still unsure how much to reveal directly. Light bulb why this matters. In human relationships, Being seen and understood emotionally is far more meaningful than being simply remembered. So if she brings up something you shared weeks ago, especially in a way that honors your emotional truth, it may be more than kindness. It might be a gentle, unspoken way of saying, "I hear you, I feel with you, and I care." Sign number 7. She mirrors your body language without realizing. When connection happens before words, the hidden dance of human connection. Have you ever noticed someone subtly copying your gestures? Maybe you cross your legs, and a few moments later, so does she. Or you lean forward in a conversation, and she mirrors that posture without thinking. At first glance, it might seem coincidental, but in psychology, this phenomenon is known as social synchrony, a powerful, unconscious signal of emotional alignment. Brain, what is social synchrony, and why does it matter? Social synchrony happens when our nervous systems begin to tune in to another person. It's the brain's way of saying, "I feel safe with you. I want to connect." Mirroring body language, tone of voice, or speech rhythm isn't about imitation, it's about attunement. This often happens in close friendships or romantic attraction. Our bodies begin to echo what our emotions already feel, a sense of resonance, of shared presence. Light bulb, a question worth asking. Think about your own behavior. When you're truly engaged in a moment, with someone you like or admire, do you find yourself matching their tone or gestures without meaning to? If she does this around you, often, subtly, and unconsciously, it's not just a sign of comfort. It's a reflection of her inner state, that something about you feels familiar, safe, maybe even magnetic. Sign number 8. Nervous laughter or overreactions to your jokes. When laughter says more than words, why is she laughing so much? Have you ever told a story that wasn't all that funny, yet she laughed like it was the best thing she'd heard all day? You might think, was it really that good? But here's the deeper question. What if her reaction isn't just about the joke, but about you? Brain, the psychology behind nervous laughter. Nervous laughter is a common response when someone feels a mix of excitement, anxiety, and emotional tension. When a woman is attracted but unsure how to express it, her nervous system may go into overdrive, heart racing, adrenaline spiking, dopamine flowing. That energy has to go somewhere, and often, it comes out as exaggerated laughter. It's not just amusement, it's the body's way of managing emotional overload in social settings. Light bulb, a sign of suppressed emotion. This kind of laughter is rarely fake. In fact, it's often a genuine signal of emotional investment. When someone cares about how they come across to you, even small interactions feel more intense. So if she laughs a little too hard at your average jokes, especially in a one-on-one moment, it may not be about the punchline. It might be her way of saying, without words, "You make me feel something, and I'm not sure how to handle it yet." Sign number 9. She suddenly pulls away after getting closer. When warmth turns into distance. What just happened? Imagine this. You've been having a great connection with someone, easy laughs, deep eye contact, shared moments that feel promising. Then suddenly, she becomes distant, cold, detached, almost like a different person. What changed? The truth is, maybe nothing changed externally. But inside her, a powerful emotional conflict might be unfolding. Brain, the push-pull of emotional fear. This behavior is incredibly common in people who crave connection but fear vulnerability. When a woman starts to feel emotionally exposed, especially if she doesn't receive clear signals of reciprocation, her instinct may be to withdraw. It's not manipulation, it's protection. The subconscious says, "This might hurt, step back before it does." This inner battle, between the desire to be close and the fear of being hurt, is a tension many people carry quietly. Book a real-life reflection. Sophie and Eric. Take the story of Sophie. She laughed at Eric's jokes, initiated conversations, showed subtle signs of interest. But when Eric didn't respond with the same level of warmth, not rejection, just neutrality, Sophie shut down. She ghosted him, not because she stopped caring, but because silence felt like a threat. So she protected her heart by disappearing first. Light bulb closing insight. If someone pulls away right after getting close, it's not always about you. Sometimes, it's about the stories they carry, stories of past hurts, past risks that didn't go well. Understanding this helps us respond with empathy, not confusion. Sign number 10. She tries to make you jealous, subtly. When insecurity hides behind casual mentions, a strange mention of someone else. Ever been in a conversation where she casually brings up a friend or someone she just met and then glances at you, almost like she's waiting? It might sound innocent. Maybe it's about a coworker who's surprisingly charming or an ex who randomly texted. But there's a deeper question to ask here. Why tell you this, and why now? Brain emotional testing in attraction. In many cases, this is not manipulation. It's a subconscious way of testing emotional safety. If a woman feels uncertain about your feelings, she might use subtle jealousy as a thermometer. Will he care? Will he notice? Your reaction becomes her feedback loop. If you flinch or even raise an eyebrow, she might feel reassured. He cares. If you stay neutral, she may internalize that as rejection or disinterest. This strategy isn't unique to women. People of all genders do this when they fear they're more invested than the other person. Magnifying glass example. The close friend strategy. Imagine this. You're at dinner, and she suddenly says, "My friend Jake thinks I should stop being single. He's kind of sweet." Actually, she doesn't linger on it, moves on quickly, but watches you carefully. That watchful pause? That's the real message. Light bulb final insight. Subtle jealousy tactics often come from a place of vulnerability, not vanity. They ask, silently, "Do I matter enough to you? Or am I just invisible?" Understanding this hidden language helps you respond not with ego, but with awareness and emotional maturity. Conclusion. Recognize and respond. Because sometimes, silence speaks the loudest. Studio microphone opening reflection. The truth is, most of these signs won't come with flashing lights or clear declarations. They're quiet, hesitant, often wrapped in uncertainty. But they're real, and they carry weight. Think back. Have you ever missed a look? Ignored a hesitation? Misread a sudden silence? Chances are, you've walked past someone's hidden affection without even knowing it. Brain why it matters. People who fear vulnerability tend to show affection in indirect ways. Recognizing these patterns doesn't just help your relationships, it deepens your emotional intelligence. Whether you're single, dating, or simply trying to be a better friend, awareness is everything. The woman who hesitated before speaking, the one who pulled away just as things felt right, she might not have lacked interest, she might have lacked emotional safety. Speech balloon, your turn. Let's reflect together. Drop a comment. I see the signs, if this made you rethink a past connection. Or share your own story. It could help someone else spot a sign they've been blind to. Light bulb final thought. Sometimes, the love that could have changed your life was hidden behind a glance, a pause, or a moment of silence that we didn't know how to read. Now, you do. If this video helped you see things from a new perspective, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this today. And if you want to keep exploring deep, thought-provoking content like this, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss another moment of insight into the unspoken language of human connection.